Hmm.
What?
Hi. Hi. Welcome to today's Decay. Where we celebrate births and beginnings of everything important since the dawn of time. And on this day, November 24th, here's everything that happened. On this day in 1859, Charles Darwin published The Origin of Species, which is important because evolution is super cool and fascinating and really mysterious. On this day in 1916, Mr. Sci-Fi himself, Dr. Acula, Uncle Forey, Forrest J. Ackerman was born. I was lucky enough to spend the last couple of Forey Ackerman's years hanging around him, filming a documentary and just driving him around and taking him out for food and telling really ridiculous jokes to each other. So he coined the term sci-fi, had a classic monster, classic Hollywood memorabilia museum in his house that he did an open door, free guided tour of every Saturday for over 50 years in the Hollywood Hills. Published, or was the editor of, the editor of Famous Monsters magazine from the late 50s through the 70s, and in the process shaped countless creative minds all through the mid-20th century onto today. So you wouldn't have Star Wars or anything that came out in the 70s and 80s, basically. Joe Dante, John Landis, Steven Spielberg, George Lucas, all this stuff is very much because he introduced weird stories, weird movies, and the idea that you can create and live in your head, and there's worlds well beyond some suburban middle school environment that you may be experiencing, and to read and create and build monster masks and film your own stuff. And Stephen King wrote like his first stories because he was influenced by Forey Ackerman. It's all about Forey. What else? On this day, 1937, Freddie Fingers Lee was born. The one-eyed boogie boy. Love Freddie Fingers Lee. Great rock and roll stuff. Never got to see him live, sadly. The Innocents premiered on this day, 1961. Starring Deborah Carr. For anybody that saw The Haunting of Bly Manor, which is a retelling of The Turn of the Screw, forget The Haunting of Bly Manor. The Innocents is a phenomenal supernatural horror story from the early 60s, and you don't need to spend 10 hours of your life watching the story slowly unfold. The Innocents is the way to go. On this day in 1971, the D.B. Cooper hijacking incident occurred. Definitely a mystery. Nobody ever solved where this money went or who D.B. Cooper really was. And I don't think anybody ever will. And finally, on this day, 1978, Bobby Steele first tried out for the Misfits on this day. And he spent 2 years with them, and that's all hits. Yeah, it's a solid 2 years. Anyway, here you go, November 24th. All the hits, none of the misses. Right? Maybe. Okay. Anyway, there you go. I'd say it's a blast some music today for the Misfits with Bobby Steele era, or Freddie Fingers Lee. Forey Ackerman loved Al Jolson. Me, not so much, but when he's singing it in your car, it works. Yeah. All right. Anyway, till tomorrow. Goodbye.